Crime and Punishment. In the stifling heat of a St. Petersburg summer, ex-student Rodion Raskolnikov hatches a scheme to murder Alyona Ivanovna, a vile and miserly pawnbroker. This decision is driven not just by poverty, but by an ideological conflict simmering within him, the belief in his extraordinary status, which gives him the right to transgress moral laws for a greater purpose. Raskolnikov embodies the philosophical notion of the Superman, echoing theories of ethical nihilism and utilitarianism, even as his internal monologue betrays his growing uncertainty. As Raskolnikov engages in heated internal debates, Dostoevsky sets the backdrop of a society riddled with poverty and moral decay, a reflection of Raskolnikov's own chaotic thoughts. The city itself becomes a character, reflecting the protagonist's psychological state, oppressive, crowded, and disordered. Throughout his planning, Raskolnikov experiences moments of doubt and deep-seated fear, interspersed with bizarre dreams that foreshadow the guilt that will soon envelop him. The night of the murder arrives, executed with a brutal precision that belies Raskolnikov's frantic nerves. As he strikes Alyona with an axe, the act is not one of a calculated genius, but a clumsy vulgarity. The scene is ripe with tension, Dostoevsky's prose capturing the frenetic energy and horror of the moment. A sudden twist occurs when Lizaveta, Alyona's innocent half-sister, walks in, complicating Raskolnikov's moral quandary as he instinctively kills her too, adding an unplanned layer to his perfect crime. This chapter delves deeply into Raskolnikov's character, a complex tapestry of conflicting motivations and ideals. He's not the cold-hearted villain, but rather a deeply conflicted soul grappling with existential questions. By portraying his turmoil, Dostoevsky not only examines the psychological aftermath of crime, but also challenges the reader to ponder the very nature of morality itself. Symbolism permeates this chapter, from the grotesque visions in Raskolnikov's dreams to the oppressive atmosphere of the city. The pawnbroker's house, with its suffocating confines, mirrors Raskolnikov's collapsing mental state. The act of murder, depicted with unsettling realism, becomes a threshold where his philosophical theories collide with the harsh realities of human emotion and ethical responsibility. Confrontation with conscience. In the harrowing days that follow the murder, Raskolnikov's mental state unravels, as he is besieged by guilt and paranoia. His feverish illness blurs the lines between reality and delusion, casting him further into a nightmare of his own making. He becomes hypersensitive to his surroundings, interpreting innocuous gestures as ominous threats. The psychological horror of his guilt is intimately portrayed, drawing the reader into his disturbed mind. During his visits to those he once viewed as allies, such as his friend Razumikin, the stark transformation in Raskolnikov becomes evident. Conversations intended to be light-hearted and mundane turn tense and threatening under the weight of his concealed crime. Dostoevsky deftly portrays these social interactions as battlegrounds where Raskolnikov's sanity hangs in the balance. His interactions with police officials introduce a cat-and-mouse dynamic, rife with tension and implicit danger. The character of Porfiry Petrovich, the astute investigator, is a formidable presence. Porfiry's psychological games and casual interrogations plant seeds of doubt within Raskolnikov, further augmenting his instability. The investigator symbolizes the inescapable force of justice, a constant reminder of the inevitability of Raskolnikov's reckoning. Amidst this psychological turmoil, the philosophical discourse deepens. Raskolnikov's internal struggles are a crucible for existential questions, challenging the tenability of his earlier beliefs in his supremacy. His dreams and hallucinations become symbolic. The dream of the mayor, in particular, serves as an allegory for innocence destroyed by senseless violence, mirroring his own heinous act. This chapter richly explores the theme of alienation, as Raskolnikov isolates himself from the world, trapped in the prison of his mind. The novel's setting plays a crucial role, reflecting his alienation from the warmth of human connection. The oppressive urban environment, with its anonymous crowds and suffocating spaces, serves as a metaphor for his existential imprisonment. Threads of Redemption. Sonia Marmeladova enters Raskolnikov's life as a beacon of compassion and moral clarity amidst his chaotic existence. Despite her life of hardship and degradation, her unwavering faith and empathy act as a counterpoint to Raskolnikov's despair. Through their fraught interactions, Dostoevsky crafts a narrative exploring redemption and the transformative power of selfless love. In Sonia, Raskolnikov finds an unlikely confidant, someone whose own suffering mirrors his yet starkly contrasts in its response. Her deep religious convictions and steadfast resilience present a philosophical challenge to Raskolnikov's nihilistic worldview. Through intimate dialogues between the two, the text navigates deep moral and existential waters, questioning the very fabric of human nature and the possibility of salvation. The specter of confession looms over Raskolnikov, personified in Sonia's presence. Her compassion ignites a slow, turbulent process of introspection within him. The exploration of guilt and conscience gains dimension through their relationship, highlighting the struggle between intellectual pride and the redemptive power of humility. Sonia's character embodies the possibility of redemption through suffering, a key theme woven into the narrative tapestry. As this chapter unfolds, the interpersonal dynamics between Raskolnikov and other characters reveal the profound isolation bred by his crime and the fragile potential for connection. His moments with Sonia are laden with complex emotional currents, embodying the novel's exploration of faith as a pathway to redemption. Their dialogues are not merely narrative devices, but philosophical treatises on human nature's capacity for both destruction and healing. Symbolism abounds in Raskolnikov's journey towards potential redemption. Sonia's compassion is a light in his moral darkness, offering a path away from the nihilism that has so consumed him. Her faith becomes a lens through which Dostoevsky explores themes of suffering and spiritual rebirth, challenging both protagonist and reader to consider the transformative power of love and forgiveness. A reckoning. The narrative reaches its zenith as Raskolnikov confronts the inexorability of his fate. The mounting pressure of his concealed crime leads to a psychological crescendo, wherein shame and defiance wrestle within him. Dostoevsky orchestrates a masterful symphony of tension, reflecting Raskolnikov's inner turmoil as external forces inch closer to unveiling his secret. The relationship between Raskolnikov and Sonia plays a pivotal role in this chapter. She becomes both a mirror for his guilt and a channel for his potential redemption. Her unwavering belief in his humanity, despite his actions, prompts intense self-reflection, propelling him towards an inevitable choice: to confess or continue down a path of ruin. Her influence is a testament to the novel's exploration of moral and emotional redemption. Porfiry Petrovich's presence looms large, his intuitive probing and psychological acumen posing an ever-present threat to Raskolnikov's fragile composure. Their exchanges are cat-and-mouse engagements laden with subtext, anticipation of the impending unraveling of Raskolnikov's facade. Porfiry's character is symbolic of the justice and moral clarity that Raskolnikov both dreads and desires. Raskolnikov's internal monologue during this period reveals a profound, albeit tormented, self-awareness. His vacillation reflects the universal struggle between moral responsibility and self-preservation. The narrative intensely scrutinizes his internal conflict, presenting a philosophical quandary about the nature of justice and the potential for redemption through suffering. This chapter underscores the novel's architectural structure of guilt and redemption. Raskolnikov's private hell is a microcosm of Dostoevsky's larger existential exploration, where themes of justice, morality, and human connection converge towards the inevitability of truth. Raskolnikov stands at the precipice of confession, a symbolic act of liberation from the tyranny of his self-imposed alienation. Confession and catharsis. In a dramatic culmination, Raskolnikov's decision to confess crystallizes in a moment of profound catharsis, one that transcends personal unrest and touches on universal themes of guilt, forgiveness, and redemption. In turning himself in, he takes the first step toward moral and existential liberation. This act of confession is both a narrative resolution and a thematic cornerstone. Sonia plays an indispensable role in guiding Raskolnikov toward this resolution. Her presence during his confession underscores the transformative potential of unconditional love and faith. Dostoevsky emphasizes Sonia as the redeeming force, her influence a testament to the power of human connection over isolation and despair. The moment of confession is laden with emotional and philosophical gravity. As Raskolnikov stands before the police, the weight of his actions bears down upon him, offering a path to penance and spiritual atonement. His admission is not one of defeat but of reconciliation with his humanity, a pivotal shift from intellectual hubris to genuine humility. Dostoevsky reaffirms the novel's exploration of suffering as a conduit for redemption. Through Raskolnikov's journey, the narrative threads of alienation, guilt, and existential dread weave together into a tapestry, illustrating the possibility of renewal through acceptance of one's moral failures. As Raskolnikov is led away, the city of St. Petersburg, both oppressive and liberating, serves as a backdrop to his transformation. The urban sprawl is a motif for his inner change, the sprawling chaos of his mind mirrored in the bustling streets. His journey to Siberia marks not an end, but a commencement of his redemption arc, sowing seeds of hope and introspection.